Tony Blair was called out for his deafening silence on the crisis in Afghanistan on Nigel Farage's GB News programme. The UK government yesterday promised that up to 20,000 Afghan refugees were to be resettled in the UK after the Taliban army seized control of Afghanistan capital Kabul. In the first year, 5,000 refugees will be eligible, with women, girls and those in need prioritised. Though some critics have stressed that the UK is not doing enough, Home Secretary Priti Patel urged other countries to help, writing, "We cannot do this alone." On Sunday, the Taliban declared victory after Afghan President Ashraf Ghani fled the country, which brought an end to almost 20 years of a US-led coalition's presence in Afghanistan. The Taliban offensive began months ago but accelerated in recent days as the army gained control of a number of territories, and ultimately captured the nation's capital. Though the majority of British troops left the country in October 2014, around 750 people remained to train the country's military. Yet in July this year, Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced that British troops assigned to NATO's mission in Afghanistan are now returning home, to mark the end of a near 20-year stay. Yet in July this year, Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced that British troops assigned to NATO's mission in Afghanistan are now returning home, to mark the end of a near 20-year stay. Despite 457 service deaths, and many physically and psychologically wounded veterans from the conflict, the Taliban's resurgence had led many critics to consider the Afghanistan withdrawal, and war in general, as a massive military disaster. Indeed, Mr. Blair was called out by a listener for his silence on the Afghanistan crisis on Nigel Farage's GB News show. The listener said, "Isn't the silence of Tony Blair deafening?" Mr. Farage responded, "Funny that. Actually, because Tony Blair, particularly on the pandemic, has been very active recently. Had our leaders 20 years ago been students of military history, they might have realized that nobody ever wins in Afghanistan." Mr. Blair, whose premiership saw the first UK troops deployed to Afghanistan, has been vocal during the coronavirus pandemic, heavily criticising the current government for not being proactive at the start of the crisis. In 2001, only a month after the 9/11 terrorist attacks in New York, then Prime Minister Mr. Blair confirmed that British forces were involved in US-led military action against al-Qaeda training camps and the Taliban regime in Afghanistan.